What's up, YouTube? I just made this YouTube short earlier today. Obviously, I didn't give any commentary for it. Uh, I mean, not out loud. I didn't use my voice. I just used text. But I feel like at the time of, I couldn't really use my voice, but because of where I was at, the environment. But otherwise, I would have just made what I'm about to make right now, which is just the same thing, but with my voice being used. Uh, it's easier for me to articulate what I'm trying to explain here and simplify it faster and easier with my voice for this argument. Obviously, I've argued this before on this channel many times, but I just really want to explain a little bit about what I was trying to show here, which is that, and you can see right here, I'm just flipping between tabs. I was pretty much just trying to explain how there's atoms and there's different particles in quantum physics and in chemistry that are the composition of the human body, and all of them exist, like independently and separately, and you are consciousness, and you are where those particles are, even though they're constantly separate, always separated. And these arguments in these screen captures show that the consensus from this has been that they're all separate, constantly separate particles, and that because of that, they are actually different locations. They're just really tiny locations, but just because the size is small doesn't mean it's not a location, or that it doesn't work the same way as larger locations. And if you exist at these locations, then you are where all these locations are. So you're in more than one place at once. And this is why that's what the consensus is. I showed proof that that's what the consensus is. When I showed you, I showed it like it basically is what the consensus is going by what's said here. It's just that in one place on the internet, the consensus is that that's what it is. And then in another place, it's not, it's the opposite, which is just, like I said, that's why the title of this video was that, more proof people think human consciousness is a paradox, but don't realize they believe that. So they basically, these people believe that this is the case, but they don't even realize that that's what they believe. People have people have a notorious record of believing things but not knowing what they believe for a lot of things. And this is just another thing. And I'm making this video obviously because it's a more simplified form of this argument that I've had for years. And yeah, it's finally a combination of all the things that need to be shown and said at the same time. Finally got around to doing it, and yeah. But that's it. I was gonna say, sorry. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, the only way to make this any better would be, I'd say, like, more specifically, to go to the part where, like, where's the picture? Like, just pause and let's look at this picture, right? Let's remember what was shown at the other parts, you know what I'm saying? Like, every single section in every color, they're all particles either way. These are all locations, you know what I'm saying? Let's just go by the first premise I said. Let's accept that these are all locations, even if they're small. Now that's the second premise. Let's accept that if this first premise is true, it's never going to become untrue. It's never going to be not true. And as we examine the next few premises, it's still going to be true no matter what. So if it's always true, then there's no way to argue out of this premise. There's no way to prove that the next premises are a contradiction to this first premise. They can't be a contradiction to it. So if that's really the case, then all the stuff I said is, you know, it's fair enough to be evidence. It's fair enough to be. There's no way it's not evidence. There's no way it's not like, you know, like backed up by cited sources and stuff. You know, this is everything that all the people who argue against this have asked for. They've asked for cited sources. They asked for all the forms of evidence that are legitimate, that is used on a broad scale worldwide and has been for centuries. It's all of that together. Okay, so, but look, think about it like this. If yeah, so think about it like this. All right. If if you want to use it by colors, different colors to help you figure out, you can. But look, at the end of the day, you can't change that. An even easier way to put this would be that, okay, like let's say, look at the person here and like the lips of this person in this diagram, and like then look at like the bicep on the left side. You can't possibly prove that these are not the same thing in terms of being in the same body, but that doesn't mean they're the same thing in every way. Okay? And it's because they're not, the reason they are not is because they are in different locations. Like, you know, to say otherwise would be like saying, okay, well, I have two cars or two houses right next to each other. Oh, okay, that means, or they're right next to each other, or they're really close by. That means they're not the same. You know, it means they're not different locations. That's not how it works. Because the arm, his bicep, and his lips are close to each other by maybe 1 foot. Okay, so what? I have two cars that I'm looking at right now that are 1 foot away from each other. Why would you say that the cars are different locations, but you're going to say that the bicep and the lips are not? My question is, if that doesn't, if I'm right about that, then how is my argument wrong? Everything I said in this video must be right. Okay? So obviously, paradoxes are real. The supernatural exists. And humans are paradoxes. Consciousness is a paradox. And I've been right for years to say this. And this argument has been right for years. Alright, so look. That's about it for this video. Just want to say thanks for watching. Bye.